Barak Yahweh, Barak Yahushai, Barak Yahweh, Barak Yahushai, Barak Yahweh, Barak Yahweh, Ba'ashem Yahushai, Ba'ashem, Kakadash. Double honors to the apostles and the elders of Great Millstone True Well. I want to say salutations to the hopeful elect out there, man. You Akim to Zadakim that do this thing in the utmost truth and sincerity. I'm the priest Shimon. This week's topic is going to be entitled Protests in Iran. Now, the brother Yashalom, the New York camp, sent the link in the chat. I didn't even have to click the link. I mean, I could click the link for further details, but pretty much there's civil protests going on in Iran, and you know that the U.S. media is going to prop this up very heavily. Not the protests that, not like the Yellow Vest protest. In other words, they're not going to put protests out there where American allies, where their countries are being protested. But if they want an antagonist such as Iran, all right, Venezuela, whatever country they're trying to overthrow, put a coup d'etat in, they're going to put your protest very heavy. And I already know this is what happens when you put U.S. sanctions. The U.S. sanctions have been going on for, well, they returned back up after the treaty pretty much flopped. So Iran is going ahead and enriching the nuclear uranium, right? Still not enough to make a nuclear weapon, you know. I think they have to not even anywhere close to make a nuclear weapon, all right? Not anywhere close to me. You need 94% enrichment to make a nuclear bomb, all right? And Iran doesn't have any nukes, but Iran doesn't need any nukes. You have allies and you have EMPs, just enough. They'll do just enough damage. Plus, you have the Strait of Hormuz, which will shut down. If Iran shuts that down, that's 20 to 25% of the world's oil, because the majority of that oil has to pass through the Strait of Hormuz, which is exported from places such as the UAE and Saudi Arabia. So Iran, war with Iran that's just gonna shut every fucking thing down, man. All right. But the fact that they're putting protests, all right, the reason the people are protesting is because of the U.S. sanctions, all right? You're crippling the fuck out the economy, forcing the government to inflate different prices, all right? So, again, we see in Persia, which is Iran, all right, getting more and more towards that Ezekiel 38 chapter, have to lean more on Russia and their different allies, such as China. And we're seeing more and more that the U.S. meddling, what it's doing is creating that tension of hate and the horde. Okay? Now, as much as Russia is helping these nations out, these nations cannot do it alone in terms of taking down America, because America has been sanctioned into hell, pretty much fucking up everybody in the world, man. All right? Because these sanctions don't affect the ones in power, man, the very high ups. It affects the people at the bottom. All right? Causing the death of a lot of fucking people, man. All right, so America's becoming that great hated whore. And every minute we turn into this news, we see more things come to pass in terms of Ezekiel 38. Now, the Spirit sometimes want to jump to different topics, of course, but that stage is being set, man. That stage, man, this guy Donald Trump, he's definitely the one that the scriptures speak about, the last Trump, but that's going into the missiles. But you can see that this dude Donald Trump is a major push forward towards prophecy, man. All right, major push towards prophecy. Okay, because these devils, they're going hard for either to overthrow Iran ever since 1979, or to go to war with Iran. War with Iran will cause a major world conflict. The Rothschilds don't give a fuck, apparently. All right. In fact, Press TV, an Iran-owned news network based in Tehran, which is, I believe, the capital of Iran, they was going hard against the Rothschilds because Iran is one of those countries that was a part of PNAC, that was on the list of PNAC, Project for a New American Century, and one of those countries that don't have a Rothschild-owned central bank. Ever since they got their true independence and nationalized their oil, it's been hell, man. It's been hell, and that hell is being pushed upon via Israel, man, because Israel controls America. America has no interest in oil in the Middle East. They make an abundance of oil, and these are topic points that we keep regurgitating, all right? But what the scriptures tell you, all right, that the Most High is going to stir all these nations up in the Middle East, all right? So this is why these things are happening. These things are not happening because of coincidence. These things are not just something that popped out of the blue. Everything that you see on a geopolitical stage that's happening is according to the Bible, man. All right? And who's going to bring it out? Amos, the 3rd chapter, and the 7th verse. The Most High reveals the secrets unto the prophets. And we're seeing now that they're trying to suppress all this different information, the famine in the world, but not just of hearing the word of the Heavenly Father on the internet. YouTube might go the way of MySpace, man, because there's people that's being deplatformed, that's speaking truth in terms of news and what's really going on all throughout, man. And that's all we really get into here at Great Millstone. There's no bullshit. I mean, you have your downtime, of course, but when I'm talking about putting together these lessons, you know, we constantly watching the news, and you know, Al Jazeera, Press TV, Russia Today. Apostle Tahar mentions Peter Schiff, Gerald Salente. Those guys are good on what's going on in the economy financially. All right, I'll definitely recommend the Gray Zone with Max Blumenthal, Brian Dawson, Black Soul Intelligence. There's just a lot. Last American Vagabond, and these are so-called, some of them are so-called Edomites, at least have the appearance of Edomites. But what does it say in the book of Psalm 64 in the 8th chapter? Their own tongue shall fall upon themselves. So you see, the nation of Edom, all right, are telling upon himself, because you even have so-called Jews. I mentioned Max Blumenthal. He's a so-called Jew, and he's going hard against what the Israel is doing, man. All right, he's a so-called Jew himself. You know, so we see that their own tongue is falling upon themselves, because the scriptures tell you when the wicked bear rule, the people mourn, and that's everybody mourning, man. Everybody's mourning because this devil is in rulership and causing constant wars, death, destruction. All right, and everybody is in mourning. Now, the prophecy says when the true people of Israel return into that land, which are the Negroes, Latinos, and Native Americans, when the true people go in that land, there's not going to be any wars anymore, man. There's not going to be any nuclear missiles. That right there tells you that they didn't fulfill prophecy, man. And until the Lord sets his people back up in there, expect constant wars, man. Expect constant wars. Now, the U.S. could probably use this revolt. They could either add to it, propaganda as a natural revolt, something that's a small issue, into a larger issue like what they're doing in Hong Kong. The CIA could go over there because they want regime change bad in Iran, man. That's the #1 country they want. In fact, a part of going in Iran was to take down Syria. And of course, Iraq, which Iraq is on the border of Syria, which is where the U.S. troops, when Donald Trump said he was going to pull the troops out of Syria, he didn't do that. They got relocated, man, to cover the oil fields, which they're there illegally, man, sitting on the nation's oil fields, to cut off major highways that funds the highways that transport weapons to Hezbollah, okay? And, of course, to relocate troops to Baghdad, which is on the border of Iran, man. They want Iran bad, man, but the Most High, that's why, you cannot get past the Most High's word, man. You cannot get past the Most High's word, because the Most High tells us in Ezekiel 38 that Iran, Russia, Turkey, and these African nations, too, because a lot of these African nations, such as the Sudanese, the Egyptians, all right, the people of Libya, hate the hell out of America, because they're all going to unify, all right, under, might be Vladimir Putin. It's looking like Vladimir Putin, but they're going to be under the Russians, man. Russia's being propped up as the next superpower to run all the world's economy, because the cutthroat dealings of America is going to have even its own allies, such as Britain, all right, turn their back on America, man. All right, and you already know that the state of Israel is hated all throughout the Middle East, because it's also prophesied that that land will completely be wiped off the face of the earth, man. So this protest thing in Iran is going big, man. As different civil unrest happen all throughout the world. Matthew the 24th chapter, wars, rumors of wars, uproars of the people. All these things are coming to fruition, to the point that you cannot gainsay against this word, man. And the Spirit, and throughout the Apostle of the Recall, of course, for replying to my lesson and pushing out that word more, it's all the Spirit of the Lord, that we should put more heavy fucking curses upon these people that try to hinder this word. I'm going to close out my video with a curse, definitely. All right? And I encourage you brothers to do the same as well. And let these devils feel it, man, because these curses are powerful. All right? To hell with YouTube and to hell with their censorship, man. This is the Most High's word. And the only reason you're able to take it down is because the Most High wills it to your own condemnation, man. I'm talking about all you faggots out there, all right, and all you that's coming against the word and coming against the prophets of the Heavenly Father, which they did nothing different in the past. Jeremiah 28:8, the prophets that have been before us has always condemned wicked-ass kingdoms, man, great and large. And the majority of people always hated the prophets, as it says in the book of 2nd Ezra, the 1st chapter and the 32nd verse. You have slain and you my prophets in pieces. They did the same with our greatest prophet, Yahweh Shai, our Lord, and many other prophets, our own people, and the nations. But guess what? We're going to keep pushing this word, all right? And we know it's going to come to pass where it's going to go beyond YouTube, to where just teaching the word on the streets is going to be a national offense, man. To hell with it, man. We're going to keep preaching until that time comes. Because as this word comes out and we're bringing more fire to this devil, the harder they're going to go. But in doing so, guess what? They're only going to be fulfilling prophecy. The more they start to move and start to roll on censorship and controlling the people, the more we move towards the ends. And this is something that has to come to pass. So don't be shocked or ashamed when they're going to be putting these videos and lessons that we're doing together and associating it with criminality, man. That's how come the scriptures tell us not to be carnal and to wait upon the Lord. Zephaniah 3 and 8, man. Because what? There's going to come a time when they're going to be putting incriminating evidence, incriminating false evidence against brothers, man. They might prop your voice up, all right? They might say, look, man, this guy's writing on you, and he's not even your voice. They use voice manipulation. These devils are very crafty. But 2 Corinthians 2 and 11, we're not ignorant of Satan's devices. They can use brothers' voices, all right? They got CGI technology. They could do anything. They could do a lot of shit to frame brothers and put brothers against themselves to make us look like devils on the media. You see, they did that with Venezuela, right? They said that the Venezuelan people were eating each other and all this type of stuff. And, you know, why did they do that? To make Nicolas Maduro look like a demon, all right? Because I was talking to a Latin American woman, and she was like, that guy's a dictator, Nicolas Maduro. I was like, nah, it's not like that. The guy was democratically elected by his people. But the U.S. media is only run by 5 major companies, which is going to get more and more narrowed down from 5 to 4 to 3 to 2 to 1. Then they're putting that false narrative out there. So the outside world, all right, mainly that's getting fed that mainstream media from the United States, think that this dude's a devil. So they could do that, man. They could propaganda. They could have you had that bitch that went in the lion cage, right? They could prop us up to make us look and bear false accusation against it. They did the same with our Lord Yahweh Shai, to make us look like complete devils, all right, and use it against us. That's how come we don't go carnal with these people, man. We don't get carnal out there. We stay spiritual, because to be carnal minded is enmity with the Most High. And the Lord tells us what? To be harmless as doves, man, and wise as serpents, you know. So we use discretion out there. Now I know this lesson was a bit all over the place, but everything is in the spirit, and the Most High flows that way. And if the spirit gets on you, just kind of switch topic up. Just roll with it, man. Just roll with the scriptures tell you in the book of Sirach, force not the course of the river. All right, so if the spirit is flowing this way, just go with it, man. You know what I'm saying? The spirit had me talk about a little bit here, a little bit there. The spirit wanted me to cut the show a little bit. Then they said, nah, just keep going. Speak on this, speak on that. There's a lot popping off, man. There's a lot popping off. And there's constant lessons to keep doing, you know? So in these latter times, man, I just pray for all of us. I pray Yahweh Shai keeps the spirit upon us, man, to keep teaching. All right, and have mercy upon our souls, man, for all the sins and BS that we do commit, you know, and that in doing this work, which is a charitable thing to do, that the Most High pardons us of being in this wicked ass weak flesh, and ultimately get us upon this chariot and destroy America and our enemies, man. So with that, I'm gonna give all praises to Yahweh, Ba'ashem Yahweh Shai, Ba'ashem Rakakwadash, double honors to the apostles and the elders of Great Millstone, which you well. Salutations to the hopeful elect out there, and Shalak Rayam, I'll call all those that come against this word, flag this video, or hinder the word of the Most High. With that, Shalom. Shalak Rayam, Waharagim, Mashapayim, I'll call those that come against this word. Shalom.